Hi, Critical Analysis. This video is for Thursday, April 9th. So end of week 12, Thursday, April 9th. Let me remind you what is due tomorrow, Friday, April 10th, in your Chapter 8 folder. Your Chapter 8 vocabulary quiz is due tomorrow, Friday, April 10th. So you want to make sure that you have that in there. Your Chapter 8 text sheet was due this past Tuesday. Again, I know some of you are not necessarily hitting the due dates, and that's okay. The main thing is that you're just submitting the work because I want you to get the grades. The due dates are for me to kind of make sure everyone keeps on track and for grading purposes, but I will still accept things after their due dates. I just want you to make sure that you're getting everything in, and as always, reach out if you need anything. Okay, so today's video is actually going to pause from Chapter 8 before we get to Chapter 9. We're going to start Chapter 9 next week. Chapter 8 is pretty much wrapped up, so I'm going to focus on two things in today's video: thesis statements and your final project. So if you scroll down on your content area, you'll see there is a folder for thesis statements, and I'm going to pull this up. We haven't talked about it particularly much in our class yet. We've alluded to it, but I'm going to address it today because it is something that you need to be aware of, what a thesis statement is. And so I'm going to show you the definition. I'm going to do a quick practice with you, and then I'm going to give you some practices and one homework to do. So when we talk about thesis statements, we are talking about something that is fairly similar to main ideas. So if you recall, a main idea is basically like a one-sentence summary of a piece of text. You look and see, you have a paragraph, and you kind of walk away with it like, who or what was that about? That's your topic. That one word or phrase is your topic. And then your main idea is the most important point being made about the topic. Like, what does the author want me to know about this topic? It's always a complete sentence, never a fragment or question, and it covers everything in the paragraph. So it's that umbrella idea that everything based on that main idea should be kind of summarized in that sentence. It can be directly stated, meaning it's right there in the paragraph, or it's implied, meaning the author has hinted, and we have to put it into our own words. The key with the main idea for the context of today's conversation is that it only deals with one paragraph at a time. Now, a thesis, you'll see that the definition is almost identical. It's a one-sentence summary. It is the most important point being made about a topic. It is always a complete sentence, not a fragment or a question, and it covers everything in here's the key difference, paragraphs, because thesis deals with multiple paragraphs. So when we talk about thesis, we are talking about anywhere from 2 to 200 or whatever the case might be, paragraphs at a time. So when you're reading for a thesis, you may have to stop every couple paragraphs and just check in. Okay, like, what is my topic? What am I learning? How are these all tied together? What's the idea? So that's the point of a thesis statement, is to summarize multiple paragraphs. And as a writer, this is what you'll have to do in your college comp classes, in your effective speaking classes. You have to come up with a thesis, and then you have to write to support that thesis. So we're just on the other end of that. We're looking to see if authors have supported and given the information enough for either you to find the thesis in the selection, or it's implied. You have to put into your own words, so that applies to the situation as well. So I'm going to bring up a quick little article here, and I have deliberately deleted the title and the intro paragraph so that we're not kind of given any hints. And I kind of cut the selection as well, but you can see it's more than just one paragraph. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to stop and kind of model how I would do this as we're finding out what a thesis is. So again, it is missing the title and the intro paragraph. So, and you'll see the little headings there, and I'm not going to read the headings. I'm just going to go into the selections. In college, you will have to dedicate much more time and effort to your studies. You will need to process lots of material on your own. Before a big exam, be prepared to spend more than 10 hours studying and expect that it may take you weeks to write a 10-page term paper. If you're in high school, a good way to prepare for college is to start taking your schoolwork even more seriously. This does not mean that it is easier for college students to prove that they know the material. In college, your final course grade, may only come from a midterm, a final exam, and a term paper. In high school, your final grade typically consists of test scores, homework, project grades, class participation, and attendance. It means that in high school you have more chances to prove your knowledge. College professors differ from high school teachers in terms that they are less interested in success of their students. High school teachers are evaluated on the basis of their students' grades and performance, but this is not true for college professors. College students no longer need any babysitting from teachers and parents. No one will force you to attend classes, and there are only a few, if any, obligatory classes. As an adult, you choose yourself which subjects you are going to study. No one will tell you what to do and help you with each and every step. So I'm going to pause, as I'm going, I was just kind of making sure. It seems to me they really are trying to tell me about what to expect from college in relation to what I know about high school. So the audience of this is probably maybe high school juniors or seniors thinking about going into college, or maybe college freshmen getting ready to start, because it really is trying to, I think, kind of demonstrate the differences between the two different kinds of school. So that's kind of where I am right now. This isn't a terribly long essay, so stopping after just a few paragraphs is fine. If this was a longer essay, I might have to stop after every couple, or, just depending on kind of what my understanding is, that'll help dictate when you stop. All right, extracurricular activities, here we go. Colleges can boast a wider range of available extracurricular activities than high schools, and many of these activities are not necessarily related to studying and sports. There can be ballroom dance communities, theater troupes, travel clubs, and volunteering communities. In college, you have more opportunities to explore new interests. High school students typically have similar social backgrounds because they live in the same neighborhoods, with a couple of exceptions. College students can be from all over the world, coming from different cultures and having different life experiences. All right, so I am dealing with more than one paragraph, so it's really important when I'm talking about a thesis to not just focus on one section. I don't want to just say, oh, in college you have fewer chances to prove the material. Okay, well, that's true for this paragraph. That's not true for the entire article. So you have to make sure that you're choosing a sentence or writing a sentence that covers everything. So to me, the topic here is high school and college. That's the topic. That's my word or phrase that this is really focusing on. Every single one of these paragraphs are tied together with the topic of high school and college. Now, as I look back through the paragraphs, what I'm learning is that they're different. They're different. They are kind of going through and comparing and contrasting high school expectations to college expectations. So how I could put this here we go. And if you remember from when we had, in class sessions, I really liked those cheat words. Many, several, various. That really helps. And that summarizes this article really well. There are many differences between high school and college. If I turn that into a question, what are the differences between high school and college? Well, this would really summarize that for me. Again, I can't just pick on, high school teachers and college teachers, because that's not what the whole article is on. You have to look at the entire article. So with that in mind, in your Blackboard, there's a little folder here. There is a thesis practice. There's a little document here. So if you click on that and you open that document, it'll open into this document right here, and it's an article. It's 3 pages long, and it's because it's kind of spaced out, not terribly long. So this is practice. If you would like to read this article, and as you read, I would recommend stopping, maybe at the end of every page, just real quick. What's the topic? What is tying this together? What do I think I'm supposed to be learning here? And then again, stop at the end of this page, and then when you're done with all 3 pages, come together with a coherent sentence that summarizes the article. And you can submit that to me via message in Blackboards. You can text it to me. You can put it in email, whatever feels comfortable for you. That is practice. That's going to give you some feedback. And now I have a homework assignment. So this is an actual homework assignment. If you have your syllabus still and you were kind of still following along, this is something originally I would have assigned in week 11, but I was waiting to kind of a better time to plug this in the videos. So this was originally on the syllabus, a homework assignment relating to thesis. So if you just click on that, it's going to bring up this article here. And it looks lengthy at first, but if you look, there's lots of pictures. So it really spaces it out. And it's from kind of an online journal, which is why you'll see a lot of article issues over here. But it starts right here. The title is Showing the Couch Potato, the First Television Controllers. So it's going over, well, I almost gave it away. So that's the title, and then you're going to read through, and you'll see it is in sections. So it is in sections, separated oftentimes by the pictures there, and it goes all the way to the bottom here. And what you're going to do is you are going to read that article, and please don't just focus on one paragraph or one section. You have to get the entire article summarized in one sentence. So look for your topic. Who or what are all of these paragraphs talking about? Because they all have a common thread. They all have a common theme they're talking about. And then in general, what is this article trying to teach me? So whenever you've read that article, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and either send it to me via email, remind, text, Blackboard message, whatever works for you is fine. So that's the thesis homework. And again, if you're looking at that from our content tab in our course, it's a little past chapter 8 since we just finished that chapter. It's in that folder there. So that is thesis statements. And again, I have the practice in there and then the actual homework assignment. And I'm going to ask that you do that homework assignment for next week. So submit that sometime in week 13. I'm not getting real specific with the due date, just since we have other things with chapter 8 and we're finishing that stuff up. So just in week 13, please make sure you go ahead and submit at least this thesis statement. This top one here is for additional practice. And if you feel like you want more practice, let me know. I always have more packets and things of that nature. Okay, the second thing I wanted to focus on in the context of this video is your final project, because I have a little bit more help or assistance for you. So if you scroll all the way down in our content tab, we do have our final project folder. Now remember, no matter if you're doing the PowerPoint or the essay, you have to find one scholarly article. Remember, we changed that. It used to be one scholarly, one popular. You are only finding a scholarly article. I do have a video there that walks you through, again, that process of finding that scholarly article. Okay, so when you click into this folder, you will get into, remember, I have all these documents here, the original, the revised, whether it's the essay or the PowerPoint, but I have some extras in here. So just as a refresher, I'm going to pull up the essay. Remember, no matter if you're doing the essay or the PowerPoint, the first several steps are the same. Nothing has changed on this first page, really. I mean, steps 1, 2, and 3 are the same that we talked about in class. Career interest inventory is optional if you want to go and take those assessments and find out, what career path is right for you. Steps 2 and 3 is you're basically filling out this information here, taking notes on this, using the links that I have there. We talked about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We talked about ONET Online. We also talked about Career Coach. So a couple different sources for you to get your information there. Now, when you get to step 4, if you searched a couple different careers, maybe some of you were looking at 2 or 3 different careers, step 4 is where you're going to narrow it down to just one. So you're only going to write your essay or make your PowerPoint on one of the careers you chose. Okay, so step 4 is when you're going to go into the scholarly article databases in the digital library and find your scholarly article. Okay, we talked about what a scholarly article is. It is peer-reviewed, it is research-based, it is written by experts, it has graphs and tables, it's very organized, it has lots of references. If you need a refresher on that, the digital library, if you recall when we went to the digital library and we went into your database, we did some brainstorming about what your topics could be. You found your general subject area over here. If you needed a refresher under in-class exercises, usually on no matter what subject you're in, what is a scholarly article? You can click on that and it'll go over some more information. It'll give you some more details on that. Okay, so that's there if you need that as well. Okay, let me get back into this. So you're finding one scholarly article. Step 5, this is where it starts to look different. Step 4 and 5, you are putting all of your information together now. You are putting all of the fact finding up here, and you're reading your article and trying to figure out what is important from there. In a future video, I will help you dissect your scholarly article a little bit more. I'll have like maybe a 5-minute video on how to do that. Step 5, here's where you actually start to write it, and I have a guide of what paragraphs could contain what. In addition, I have a rough draft guide. I have this already uploaded in Blackboard, and it tells you kind of how to start off. For paragraph 1, here's how you can start this. Paragraph 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your reference page. So I have kind of a very rough outline of how you could start putting those essays together. And then you'll see, you have your initial research points. You'll have your scholarly article. What did you learn from your article? Your rough draft. Now, I initially on your syllabus had a rough draft due date of April 16th, which is coming up soon. Hey, I'm not going to have that like as a hard and fast due date now because I know things are kind of finagled, but I would really prefer to see a rough draft before your final project. That's just going to be to your benefit so that I can give you some feedback. And I know a couple of you have already sent me some things, so you've already earned those rough draft points. And then finally, your final draft. Your final draft is kind of going to include everything up here. And that's why it's really important to send your rough draft. If you recall, this was 150 points, so it's cut in half, but I still, want you to value and put all this together. Okay, that's the essay. Now, the PowerPoint is going to look the same up here. Step 4 and 5 are different. And then you'll have your kind of suggested way to put your slides in, and then your scoring. I am also uploading in Blackboard, it's already there, a skeleton of the PowerPoint. So I went in and I kind of created a PowerPoint for you already and put the titles there at the top so that you can just kind of start filling it in and personalizing it. If you want to use that, that is completely up to you. I also have some examples I thought I would show you real quickly. Now keep in mind, these examples are from students who did the original final project. They were in semesters where obviously they didn't have to go all online. So that's where you're going to see more information here. So you'll see they have their title, their description, their job requirements, which includes the education, skills, and knowledge that their field requires, the duties that are required of someone in this field, the work environment, meaning where do they work, what kind of atmosphere are they expected to be in, the job outlook, so what kind of projections are going on in their job, their pros and cons of being in that particular field, and now this is what they learned about their scholarly source. So those of you doing PowerPoint, you'll have like a slide for what did you learn about your scholarly source? What was important? What stuck out to you? Now this, again, this is original, they had a popular source. Then we have some personal goals. What are some things you want to do? What are some things you want to accomplish? Okay, so that is kind of a snippet of a final project. I also have this one here, another one. So kind of going through again, you can see both of these happen to be 13 slides. That's not hard and fast or anything. So, job description, requirements and working conditions. So you can see it's just kind of going through all the little components there that were asked of it. You do not have to do the vocabulary any longer. There's the pros, cons. There's our references. So I want to talk to you about your references, and I apologize, I don't have any examples on my home computer of the essays. I must have all my examples on my work computer, so I don't have any essay examples, but that's why I wanted to make sure I plugged in kind of this example here. So references, real quickly, when you go into your scholarly article, let's say I do my search, I didn't necessarily intend to do a full search right now, but I do want to show you scholarly just picking on whatever for right now just to get an article out. All right, when I think I find an article I really like, this is for the articles. I can have it cite it for me. Cite. And we're using APA. So I would just, there it is. There's my APA. And I can copy and paste that. Most of the time, those are pretty accurate. I will say it is always good to check against APA. And I use OWL at Purdue. They are kept up with what's going on with APA, so they know how to format this. So I would just recommend kind of double checking. You all are going to be using a reference list because you're probably not going to be citing in the text. You're going to be putting that in the reference list. So if you are using a scholarly article and it appears in print, which most of them do, you will go to reference list, articles, and periodicals, and it's going to show you how it would look. It's going to walk you through that process. If you're using a scholarly source that by some chance is only from an electronic journal, you could click on electronic sources and it'll walk you through like an online periodical or an online scholarly journal where it says cites DOIs, which that's what that is right there, the DOI. So you would just kind of check it against that. So that's for the scholarly sources, but let the digital library do most of the work for you when it comes to citation. Now, when you all use the BLS.gov or the ONET Online, those are websites. For your scholarly source, that's a journal. For your website, you still have to cite this. You cannot just copy and paste the link and say that's a citation. That is not APA citation. So for your citations for your websites, you would go in. Again, we're doing reference list. So you want to make sure you're clicking on reference list. And you'll kind of look down here and see, okay, what am I using? Did I miss it maybe? Email. Oh, it was first up here. Haha. A web page. There we go. So it walks you through a web page. What's also nice is right up here, you can have this help you cite. So you can type in your URL. You can copy and paste it in there. You can tell it, oh, this is a website, this is a book, and then it'll help you cite it. Another one is Citation Machine. Now, Citation Machine is not without error, so this is more of a tool. So you want to be careful with this. So you can go in here and say, okay, I need to cite a website. And you're going to plug in your URL. Let me just type that in. I'm going to search the websites. Let's say I'm just going to use this one. And it didn't really get a lot of information. I didn't give it a lot of information. But, oh my goodness, lots of steps. Here we go. This is closer to what a website looks like in citation form, not just the list of the website. So you can use Citation Machine. Again, sometimes Citation Machine gets a little funky. It doesn't always cite properly. So that's why I'll say, go back and look at APA format. Here's an example of a reference page. It has the author, the dates. It's not just a list of websites or books or journal articles. It is more involved than that. If you are stuck or need more help with that, please let me know. But use these resources as well. Use APA, OWL at Purdue. Use the digital library. Use Citation Machine. We also have pamphlets at the Writing Center about citation. So use all of those different things. Okay, so in Blackboard, again, you'll see I have the essay guide and the PowerPoint guide if you're looking for help with getting started. So I do highly recommend you sending me a rough draft. It is built into your grade, as you can see at this part here. You get 5 points for sending me a rough draft. I mean, it's not going to make or break you, but you do get points for doing that, and it's to your benefit so that you get feedback before you submit the full thing. Again, your final project is due April 30th, so same due date so that we're not falling behind, and then grades are due shortly after that. So, as a quick recap, due tonight, this video is for Thursday, April 9th, due tonight is your Chapter 8 vocabulary quiz. I'm sorry, that's due Friday. Due Friday. It's late. I don't know if y'all can tell. It's 11 o'clock. I'm tired. Due Friday is your Chapter 8 vocabulary quiz. Just please make sure you have Chapter 8 text sheet and the Chapter 8 vocabulary quiz submitted. Due next week, go ahead and start sending them to me at any time, is your thesis homework link. The one above is just a practice. So you can practice and send that to me, but then this is what I'll actually put in the gradebook for a grade, is the thesis based off this article here that you click on the link. And then finally, please continue to be working on your final project. So more information is in this folder. I will upload another video about tips on how to go through your scholarly article so it makes it a little less tedious for you. Next week's videos will pick back up with Chapter 9 and then Chapter 10, and that pretty much will finish up the book. All right, hope everyone's doing well. Bye.